Welcome back to FedBiz Exchange. I'm Michelle Brown, your coach and your mentor. In part one of pricing, I discussed the importance of using a bid pricing template so that you can map out your cost and come up with a final number for your solicitation to the government. In part two, this video, I will discuss bidding with confidence, helping you to take the number that you came up with and evaluate your pricing before you bid. Before we get into it, I want to remind you of two things. Remember, you have Ask Michelle B. If you get stuck with your government contracting endeavors, you just have a simple question or something complicated. Click on the link below in the comment section to Ask Michelle B, and I will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours with an entire video, and we'll share this information with our audience. Number two, don't forget to subscribe. So let's get into it. In video one of pricing, part one, I talked about the importance of you taking your pricing and breaking it down, even if you only have two cost ingredients. The question is, what does it cost for you to work with this government contracting agency on this particular project? If you only have transportation and the product that you need to pay for, those are your only two costs. But you need a bid pricing template or worksheet. You either need to create one or click on the link below to get you one from us, because we have it already set up for you, but you need to have one no matter what. This is why people lose all of the time. They are not evaluating their real cost, and they're not looking at the whole picture. So that's part one, the bid pricing template. Know your numbers, because if your numbers are too high, you can always come back after this video, part two, and realize, wow, I need to go back and reevaluate my numbers. But this is going to tell you what you need to evaluate on your bid pricing template. So let's get into it. You need to give yourself credit, number one. Number two, I'm going to walk you through how you need to evaluate your pricing compared to your competitors and compared to the awards that the government has made in the past. You can't just throw a number out there. So there's kind of a science to this. And remember, I do this. I do this for my own company. I do this for myself. I've done this for clients in the past. So if you just think through how you're going to do your pricing, you'll be okay. You will probably win. Number two, make sure you save the original solicitation. That solicitation is the key to what you need to evaluate. Because if you can't get to the old solicitation or the original solicitation, you don't know what you're evaluating. You need that solicitation. So after they award the contract, it goes into the archives. You can't find it anymore. So save the solicitation. Also save your bid, yes, and what you submitted, but save the solicitation itself. Number three, make sure you find out who the winner is. A lot of times the contracting officer will tell you who the winner is and how much they awarded the contract for. If they do not contact you to let you know that, you need to make sure that you're following the opportunity. So as soon as the award hits, you can get all of the information, because it could go into archives and you could never see it again. So you need to get that. Of course, you can always wait until it's uploaded in USA Spending or FPDS, but I want you to be on top of this, because you may have another bid that's very similar that you're about to do. If you're doing what I teach you to do, you have bids popping up everywhere that need to be done. You don't want to keep submitting bad pricing. You want to get as close as possible to what the government sees as realistic. So number four, if you are within thousands of dollars, let's say you lost the bid, you're within thousands of dollars, that's okay, you're not too far away. If you're within thousands of dollars, all you need to do is go back to your bid template, your worksheet. Look at that information that you put in there for your pricing, your breakdown. Look to see where you can cut costs because sometimes you find you're just being greedy. I hate to say it that way, but you are. Most people are. A lot of people are. People get into government contracting, they think they're going to add 25% on top of the number that they've already given. It doesn't work that way. The government expects you to give them your best pricing all the time. They want you to make money. They do, believe it or not, they do. Because if you're not making money, you're not going to come back. They're not going to be able to work with you. They want small businesses to work with because they already know how the large companies are. And the large companies, usually, when they have to deal with the large companies, they're always overpriced. But if they don't have any small businesses to deal with, women owned, but veterans, minority owned, then they can't win for losing. So don't be greedy. Don't be overzealous. Look to see if you can make, for instance, and I'll use myself as an example. I have walked away from trying to make 35,000 in one bid as opposed to 25,000. I'll take the 25. I'll take the 15 because this is the long game for me. This is not me trying to get rich off of one deal. It's not going to happen. So the government, even if they give you that or award you that contract, they won't do much more with you because they will see your pricing is always out of whack. So just keep that in mind. Go back and look to see what cost you can cut. Okay, it's as simple as that. Then, if your loss is huge, which Jessica and I had that happen, she lost big. She lost by quite a bit. So we had to go back and look to evaluate how she was setting up her pricing. That's what made me have her to use what my business development director created is the bid pricing template. Jessica and I are very excited now because we know we have it figured out. I had to walk through her methodology for how she's doing her pricing. The number one thing was she was putting a cost on top of her basic cost because she has to pay for staffing. She has to pay maybe subcontractors or other staff if she's not providing the staff directly. She has other costs. So there were a lot of things she needed to look at. And if you did not watch pricing part one, the video on the first part of this, you need to go back and understand what I'm trying to tell you. This is the key to you winning. Okay, so go back and look at that. That's what she and I did, and we both feel very confident. We also did homework. We went ahead and we did price comparison on older contracts that were exactly the same or very closely related. We looked at her competitors. We made sure that we could figure out what was the pricing her competitors used when they bid against her, specifically the one that beat her out in this contract. So you're going to go to USA Spending. After you get the award, after you find out what the award is from the contract that you lost, you write that down. Then you're going to go to USA Spending and see if you can find any other similar contracts. You're going to do a keyword search, basically, I shouldn't say keyword. You can start out with PSC codes or whatever codes the solicitation used. And you're going to see if you can find other contracts like that. Or even better, you can just go to your competitor to see if they're winning contracts like that all the time. If they're winning contracts for instance, staffing, administrative staff. Now some people might say, well, what if it's a different agency? Remember, these government agencies, they work together. They use information from a database. They do what I'm telling you to do. They get information from other agencies that have similar positions, and then they evaluate the information that they get, and that's how they set their pricing. They may not do as much homework as I'm telling you to do, but they have to make intelligent decisions. They can't just pass out money. It's not their money, it's taxpayer money, and it's the law. They have to make sure that they're looking for reasonable offers. A lot of times, they will make you think it's all about past performance. If you have a bad history, yes, it's about past performance. But if you don't have any past performance and you give them a better pricing, 5,000, 1,000, 15,000 better than your competitor, and you have no past performance, they're going to give it to you almost 99% of the time because it really is about price. They just don't want you to think it is. Of course, there's some services where it will not work that way. But for the most part, it is about pricing. Pricing is everything. So don't be greedy. This is what Jessica was doing. She was taking a percentage from the commercial industry and putting it on top of her regular cost. You cannot do that with the government. You should start from, so you have your basic cost first. You've put your cost into your bid pricing template and you come up with a number. Most people are taking a percentage from, as they would do in commercial, and they would put that price on top of what the number they came up when they broke down their numbers, the number they came up with on their bid pricing template. That's not how you need to do it. You need to come up with an accurate number that allows you to make some level of profit in your bid pricing template. If the industry generally adds another administrative fee to that, that's fine, but you can't add more than 5 to 7%. And even 5 to 7% could be high because you're being greedy. And this is not commercial and it's overzealous. So trust me when I say this. You need to ask yourself, am I okay with making an extra $10,000? It's all relative. It depends on how much money you do or how much money you have to spend. It depends on how much activity you have to do. If you're selling products or service, if you're selling products versus services, I should say, products, mailing something, delivering a product is different than a service. You might need to make a little bit more profit on a service. You know your industry better than I do. I only know my own industry. I know when I sell pharmaceutical drugs to the government, if I only make $5,000 off of a deal, it's not going to kill me because that includes the shipping and delivery if I have any charges for that. Sometimes when it comes from the manufacturer, I don't even have charges for that because the manufacturer has already included that in my cost. So whatever I pay the manufacturer, I only have one cost. So whatever I have left over, it's worth it. I don't have to do anything else except make sure it got there. So it depends on your industry. It depends on what you're doing. But again, ask yourself, would I rather make, $10,000 off of 5 deals so that I can get my past performance and work with the government? Or do I have to make $25,000 right now? Is it going to kill me? If it is, you're probably in the wrong business, or you probably need to do a different service. But that mentality is not going to work on the side of the government. It's just not going to work. And if you win, sometimes it won't last because you have to do what I'm saying right now. You have to realize this is about making a deal and they're going to take the best offer. And if you look like you are just way out of whack, no matter how much they like you, they're not going to take it. They're just not. So do what I'm saying, do your bid pricing on your worksheet and then come to USA Spending to evaluate your competitors. Once you look at the average of what your competitors are doing, you can figure it out. If a person was awarded $250,000 for 1,000 units of product, all you have to do is the basic math to figure out what they charged for each unit. That's all you have to do. And for services, you guys charge by the hour or you charge a flat fee. It depends on what type of service it is. But you know what your industry does. So do your homework. The other thing I will say is sometimes you're able to find the exact contract that you are bidding on. You could be bidding on a recompete, a new compete, meaning someone had this contract before or they have it right now, but they either lost the contract or the government is changing directions and maybe they want to change it into a woman-owned business or they want to change it into a veteran-owned business. Doesn't matter. You still need to look at the pricing. You need to know about the company that had the contract before. You can find that out in USA Spending and the company that just beat you. If this is a new bid and you're listening to this guidance before you bid, you're in a good place. Do this homework. Do step 1 and do step 2, what I'm talking to you about right now. You also need to learn from your competition. You can figure out by looking at the company that won or the companies, I should say, that are bidding on the same types of opportunities, you can tell who your competitors are going to be. And you need to look at their codes. You need to look to see how often they've been winning. And then it becomes personal. Sometimes you find that there are one or two companies you're trying to beat. And sometimes it's a matter of a difference of 50 cents or a dollar. And a dollar is a lot, by the way. So if you go back to look at part one on pricing, you will see I changed in that spreadsheet, I changed $1 and it made a difference of almost $20,000. At least it went from 50,000 in profit down to 34,000 in profit. If it means that you're going to win by taking the 34,000 in profit, take the 34.